Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring, and today is Friday, June 14th, 2024. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good week. Hope you're having a good trading day, and appreciate you coming by and watching this short video. I had a nice trade on Disney today, intraday on the 5-minute bars, and it's a nice profitable trade, and I just wanted to share it with you. The strategy that I use here is called a higher low V1. This one's a higher low V1. I also use higher low V2s, but this happened in 2 bars, so this is called a higher low V1. So let me show you what the rules are for this strategy. Let me bring your attention to this green line here and this green line here. You can see it makes this channel here. Anywhere inside of this green area, I consider it's what I consider is the value zone. Now, the first requirement for a higher low V1 or a V2 is that you must close underneath the bottom channel of the value zone. So you can see here, for instance, well, let's go close back in, then closed here. So here we close below the value zone. That's requirement number one. Number two, we need to rally into the value zone. And then requirement number three, we need to move down and then create a V1 or a V2. This is called a V1. It consists of 2 bars, bar 1, bar 2. Bar 2 goes below the low of bar 1's low and then closes above the close of bar 1. So bar 1, bar 2, 2 goes under bar 1's low, bar 2 closes above bar 1's close. This is called the V1. So again, we close below the value zone. We must rally back into the value zone. We must have a pullback, which then reverses and forms a V1 or a V2. And why the important part of that pullback and the important part of V1s or V2s is that we wash out the previous bar's low. I mean, if you're looking at this in real time, at the bottom of that bar, it was looking really bad, but then it reversed back up. Why did it reverse back up? Because there weren't enough sellers anymore. Buyers took control. And you can see this low here. You see how this is higher than this low? That's why it's called a higher low V1 or a V2, in this case, V1. So close below the value zone, rally into the value zone, have a pullback that basically has a false move to the downside that reverses back up. And higher lows, or if you're bullish, if you're trying to get something to go up, a higher low tends to have a nice, tends more often to have a nice leg up. Lower lows tend to do this. They're lower lows, they rally, and then they pull back. Sometimes they just keep going down, but they're lower low, they rally, and that's why if you can get a higher low, that's why a lot of times you'll have a nice leg up. So I entered here at 99.56. Now, as soon as I enter, I always place an emergency stop, the value of 2 ATRs below my entry. The 2 ATRs at the time I took this trade was 25 cents. So I take my entry price minus 25 cents. If it goes down there at any point, I am completely out of the trade. That's my line in the sand. That is my end. That's my emergency stop. But I also have a secondary stop that's much closer, and that's this red line here. This is called my end of bar stop. So on a V1 or a V2, the washout bar, this is the washout bar because it washed out this low. You take the high, you take the low, halfway of that bar will be a Fibonacci support level. So in other words, had it come down the very next bar, had it closed below halfway of that washout bar, that would have been my reason to get out. That would be my end of bar stop. I have my emergency stop down here in case it just dumps on me, right? But this only hits about 5% of the time. 95% of the time when you have a loss, it will be your end of bar stop. And see how much closer it was? You want to have a good risk to reward ratio. So identify the setup. Let the price action do what you're looking for it to do. Place the emergency stop 2 ATRs below, and then your end of bar stop much closer. And what makes most sense is halfway here. So the emergency stop, end of bar stop. Now I want to have an asymmetrical risk to reward ratio. So my maximum allowed loss on this trade is 2 ATRs. So for my profit target, I want to put that, double that, 4 ATRs above. So one of 4 things is going to happen. One, it's going to close below my end of bar stop, which I'll get out for a small loss. 2, it's going to get to my emergency stop, which is my 2 ATR. 3, I'm going to reach my 4 ATR profit target, right, which is twice as large as my maximum allowed loss. Or 4, none of these are going to hit, which is exactly what happened to me in this trade today. It was the end of the day, the end of the bar. You can see it got close to my 4 ATR profit target, but it didn't quite get there. And so at the end of the day, I just exited the trade there. But it was a very nice trade. And what was that? Pretty close to, yeah, 42 cents. 0.42%. But you can see that trade, these higher low V1s, V2s, when you're patient and you wait for the right higher low V1, V2, look, I was never negative on this trade, ever. It just took off and went. Higher low V2s, higher low V1s, return to value V1s, return to value V2s. They're really good. And if you'd like to learn more about them, just go to my YouTube channel in my lessons playlist. Just look up V1s, V2s, and I have a video there for you. But they're really good strategies with good risk to reward ratios. The price action is there, and a lot of times these just take off and go. Not all the time, obviously. That's why I have my stops in place. But I hope this video was helpful. If it was, I'd appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. It really does help out the channel, lets YouTube know that there's some valuable content here. If you'd like to learn more about my trading, I have a weekend podcast on YouTube where I go over all the swing trades that I took in the previous week, both on the daily time frame, the weekly time frame, when I entered, why I entered, what the setup was, and how I managed the trade going forward. And that podcast is about an hour, so I go into a lot more depth. And then I also talk about the trades that I'm looking for in the coming week, what levels I'm looking for that makes sense to me. So anyway, if you have some time this weekend, check it out. I think you'll find it helpful, and really appreciate you being here and spending the time and watching this. Hope it was helpful, and I hope you have a really good weekend. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Bye-bye.
U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.